Hey you guys, it's Lauren. Welcome back. So today's video is going to be so fun. I have a huge foundation review and I'm just super pumped because foundation for me is just so fun to talk about, to try out, to review. It's just that one product that really just makes a difference. So we have so many to talk about today from a bunch of different brands. I have the NYX Bear With Me, I have the new Anastasia foundation, the Pure Cosmetics Love Your Selfie, the Naked foundation, well, the Stay Naked foundation, not my beloved Naked foundation. I miss that foundation so much, but so many things to talk about, so we'll just go ahead and we'll jump right into it. All right, so first up, let's talk about this BB cream. So this is by a brand new brand at Ulta called Bailey Body. Bailey Body is actually sponsoring a portion of this video, so thank you to them, and I'm so excited because I've always had my eyes on them for a while. Saw that they were released on Ulta's website, and I looked at their Instagram feed, and oh my gosh, they have the most gorgeous models on that feed, and the way they're slathering these tanning lotions all over their bodies, it just makes me want to buy like every single one of their products. But what really got me is when I saw all the reviews on this BB cream. I think it was pretty popular before it was introduced to Ulta, but really high ratings and a ton of ratings too. So it's one of their best sellers and I can totally see why. So this is a multitasking beauty cream that combines hydrating skincare benefits to protect, correct, and perfect the skin while providing flawless coverage. So the fact that this contained certain skincare ingredients really got me excited. Green tea is both an antioxidant and an anti-inflammatory, which both can slow further signs of aging. So that got me super excited, and there's also collagen in here. Now, collagen, there's not too many things out there that say that collagen is actually gonna plump up the collagen in your skin, but if anything, collagen just acts as a great moisturizer for your skin, so it's just gonna give you that bouncy look to your skin, and it just acts as a nice hydrator. So really good things in here. There's also SPF in here. There's an SPF of 15. Obviously we need, at least an SPF of 30 to be fully protected from the sun, but there's something in there, so I really appreciate that. But this has been like my favorite go-to product for when we're going to the pool. I just throw this on with a little bit of mascara and I just love the glow that this gives my skin. There's barely any coverage, like I'm talking maybe light coverage if anything. You can see my photo that my melasma is still poking through, but there's something about this, it just it evens out your complexion but in a natural way, and it brightens your skin, and I just love the formula too. It's lightweight, it has this moussey texture, and when I'm reaching for a BB cream, I don't like to fuss with it. I like to just be able to put it on my fingertips, rub it into my skin, and run out the door, and this is what I love about this. There's a BB cream, actually two in here that I'm going to talk about that I'm not quite fond of as far as the application process goes because of the texture, but this texture is amazing. It's lightweight, it's airy, it feels lightweight on the skin. There's two shades to this, which they both seem pretty adaptable. I was actually nervous that I have the natural shade, and when I first put it on, I thought it was going to be way too tan. I thought I would end up with like a foundation mask, but it actually blends in really nicely, and if anything, it just gives me like a nice sun-kissed glow, and it just looks so pretty. I'm obsessed with this. I can see why there's high ratings. So I'm so excited about this. I love it. There's not really too many negatives I can say about this. I wish there was a little bit more SPF in this. That's my only gripe with this. I wish there was an SPF of 30, but minor detail, I can put an additional SPF underneath this, no big deal. And the lasting power is great as well. It just fades slightly. You still end up with that sun-kissed glow, but it lasts a good maybe 8 hours. It's not exactly waterproof, but it just sits really nicely on the skin, and it never looks streaky, and it's just great. I really like it. Okay, and then next up, I don't know, I hate to give this up too early, but I think this might be my favorite in the bunch today. I am so excited about this. This is the NYX Born to Glow Natural Radiant Foundation. I have seen so many videos on this. So many people have been raving about this, so I just had to pick it up. I was in Ulta this weekend and I thought I had my order ready to go, but I was getting in that checkout line and I spotted this. I'm like, oh, I gotta pick this up. I'm all about a dewy foundation, so I was really excited to see this. So let's look at the claims on this. It's available in an inclusive range of 45 truly flattering shades, which that really impressed me. For NYX to have such an inclusive range, that's awesome. I found it a little difficult to pick a shade with only you have just this tiny little window on the front, but I ended up going with the shade Natural, and it ended up being a great shade match. So I was excited about that I found something that matched my skin. It says the covetable formula delivers a buildable medium coverage and a naturally radiant finish that lasts. And it says it's actually meant for oily and dry skin, and it's supposed to have a dewy finish. Now, you don't really see too many dewy foundations claim that they're good for oily skin as well. Now, my skin's on the dry side. If anything, very dry right now. I do have some extra dry patches, so I can't really comment if it works on oily skin or not. But oh man, the finish of this is so amazing. It just makes your skin look flawless. And I think I was most impressed with this when I first applied it because it was so lightweight. It just goes on like just the thinnest foundation. This really reminded me a lot of my first love, the Urban Decay Naked Foundation, of how thin it is with having so much pigment in it at the same time. It really just instantly evens out your skin tone. And I would argue it doesn't have full coverage, but it's definitely medium to buildable. My sunspots were definitely covered. I didn't really feel the need for extra concealer. This was just one of those foundations that as I was applying it, I'm just like bouncing it onto my skin like, oh my gosh, I'm loving this. I love this. I need more of this. I don't want this ever to be discontinued. This is definitely a new love for me. I love the natural radiant finish. It lasts a long time. It definitely is not as long lasting as some of my more matte foundations. I feel like some matte foundations can hold up a little longer than these dewy foundations, but it holds up beautifully. It doesn't break up at all. It just fades nicely throughout the day. I would say it has maybe like a 6 to 8 hour wear before I notice any fading with it. But like I said, it fades beautifully. It doesn't look streaky, and it's just so good. I just love this so much. Also too, I was impressed that it was so thin, yet it didn't sink into my pores. It doesn't sink into my fine lines. It just floats over my skin and just creates like a smooth, even complexion. It's just so pretty. I'm just loving this so much. I totally get the hype now, and this is well worth the hype for sure. My only gripe with this is the packaging. I wish it had like a little tip at the end of it just for more of a precise application, but no big deal. It goes onto the beauty blender, just super easy. But that is my only issue, but otherwise I just love this. So good. It's definitely my new favorite out of the bunch. Yeah, it's gonna be my new go-to. And then next up, one that I'm not loving so much. So this is by First Aid Beauty. This is their Ultra Repair Tinted Moisturizer. This is an SPF of 30, and this is supposed to have a natural luminous finish. It says the natural finish is supposed to reduce the look of visible imperfections. And as far as the ingredients go, it's a chemical sunscreen. It does lack the oxybenzone. There's licorice root in here for brightening. There is a fragrance in here. Sodium hyaluronate, some moisturizers. So it did look promising, but the fact that the claim said it's supposed to reduce the look of fine lines and wrinkles, completely the opposite. This enhanced every textured area on my face, every pore, every line, every wrinkle. This just was not flattering for me. And I think the thing that I liked least about this was the fact that the formula just felt really heavy and it just didn't spread on nicely. Like I was talking about with the Bailey Body BB cream, that just spreads on nice and silky smooth and it's nice and airy. This, you really have to work with it. It almost has like a little bit of a grab to it as you're rubbing it in. So it's not the most, I don't know, appealing sensation as you're putting this on. I don't like how this lasts. I don't like how it held up. And the coverage was what I would expect out of a BB cream. It did even out my skin tone, but the fact that somehow, I don't know if it's a sunscreen in here, but it just enhanced my melasma and my sunspots. I think, I don't know, just the way it sunk into pores, and it's just not the most flattering BB cream, unfortunately. I love First Aid Beauty skincare, so I really did have high hopes for this, but this just was not my favorite. It did have a pretty luminous finish, but that luminous finish at the same time also enhanced a lot of my texture, and it didn't wear the greatest either. The fact that it was streaky initially, it got even more streaky as the day goes on, and it only lasts maybe like 6 to 8 hours, so not my favorite. Now, a CC cream that I did love, I've been obsessed with this. This is by Supergoop. This is their Daily Correct CC cream. I have the shade light medium, and this is an SPF of 35. So this has a 100% mineral sunscreen in here, and this is supposed to induce not induce photo aging, that would be bad. Protect skin from UV-induced photo aging while providing lightweight color and correction. It's blended with light diffusing mica, and this cream is supposed to instantly soften the look of fine lines and pores for a fresh, flawless finish. And that is the thing that impressed me most about this. It really does just smooth out your texture and your pores so well. This is an awesome CC cream. A lot of people have compared this to the IT Cosmetics CC cream. Definitely not the same amount of coverage. That is probably one of my favorite foundations. I just love the instant flawless look you get from that. This is more so of a medium coverage. It doesn't cover my melasma. It doesn't really, it covers redness, but your dark spots are definitely going to poke through. But you'll notice in my picture, my sunspot is very faded. It's barely visible, and it just, my skin looks bright, it looks healthy, and it looks glowy. I love the glow you get from this. It just gives your skin that like hydrated glow too. Not that glow where you look greasy, but just nice and fresh and just awake and just healthy. So I just love how this makes my skin look. Tiffany D, what's her name? Makeup from Tiffany D. She's one of my favorites. She always like cracks me up. I love her humor. But she talked about this maybe, I don't know, 4 years ago when I really started getting into YouTube. And I always had this on my radar, never picked it up, but now I totally get the hype around this. This is just great. My favorite way to apply this is with a sponge, but this is another one that you could easily use your hands with because it just blends in so nicely and so seamlessly. And the shade match is great. Like I said, I have the shade light medium, and it just blends into my neck area really well, and there's no cast or anything like that from the sunscreen. It just gives your skin that just flawless look, that even look. I love this. This is another one of my favorites, worth the hype. Okay, and then next up, let's talk about this NYX Bear With Me. This is their tinted skin veil. Let's see, what shade do I have? I have the shade True Beige Buff. This is supposed to provide a fresh face look, even out skin tone, provides seamless coverage. It's supposed to be breathable, weightless, and skin is supposed to look luminous. It doesn't streak. It provides up to an 8-hour wear. Now, this for me, I don't know. I like the glowy, radiant finish I got from this. It does make your skin look fresh and youthful and that nice glow that you want from a skin veil, I guess. I don't know, this is not really a BB cream. They're calling it a skin veil, which I guess in a sense, this is all you're really gonna get from it. It's just gonna maybe brighten up your skin tone. But for me, the result I got from this was not worth the feeling. This just feels really heavy on the skin. I felt like it was really tough to work with too. It doesn't blend in nicely. It almost reminded me of the texture of the First Aid Beauty BB cream in the fact that it just isn't silky smooth. It's just a little, just thick and tough to work into the skin. Not what I expected from a skin veil. I just thought this would blend in a little easier. It just was, it set too quickly, and it was a little tough to work with, and it felt heavy. It felt cakey, but yet didn't look heavy or makeup-y. Like, it obviously doesn't give you that full coverage look, but it's still, it was obvious that you're wearing something on your face. The glow is nice, but it's not worth that heavy feel to me. And the wear time, I do think it lives up to that 8-hour claim before it makes your face look greasy or heavy looking. It just gives that, maintains that natural radiant finish throughout the day. But like I said, I'm not a fan of that heavy feel. So I would say the Bear With Me, not worth the hype. So next up, oh my gosh, a full coverage foundation that actually wears well and doesn't look cakey. I was super excited about this. This is the Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie Long Wear Foundation and Concealer. I actually picked this up through Octoly. So this is another foundation that has had a lot of really good reviews. I didn't really know what to make of them because I tried their one foundation. There's Bear in the name. I can't quite remember what that foundation is called. And I just thought it was way too heavy. And the fact that this was a full coverage foundation, I was just nervous about it. I thought it'd be too heavy and makeup-y looking on the skin. But I'm telling you guys, I've really been loving this. So this multi-purpose complexion miracle serves as both a foundation and a concealer. I thought that was really cool too, by the way, with a unique dual applicator component for quick and easy application. It's supposed to conceal blemishes, dark spots, all yada yada, all the stuff that a full coverage foundation is supposed to do. But it's also packed with skin-loving ingredients. And so I was looking at the ingredient list, and there are some really great things in here. There's ceramides, which we know ceramides help to maintain your skin's barrier, helps to keep hydration in. So that was really cool. Shea butter is going to be a nice heavy-duty moisturizer. Lactic acid, a humectant. It's going to keep skin looking renewed and refreshed. So pretty good things in here. So I was really excited. There's not really any like yucky stuff in the ingredient list. Now there's a ton of shades. I ended up going with the shade LP6. There's a whopping 100 shades in this foundation range. So pretty cool, and it really wasn't that difficult, surprisingly, to pick out a shade. They had this awesome shade finder on their website, so that made it really simple, and I got my exact shade match like right on the bat. And the packaging is just super cool. So you can either use the pump on the top, or like it said, it has this doe foot applicator, which you can use as a concealer, which I love any foundation with a doe foot. I think that's really cool. I know people say that that's unsanitary, but you're doing it with your concealer, so I don't mind it so much. And I like the fact that they have the doe foot because the formula is actually pretty heavy and thick. So it was really forgiving for me. I tend to go overboard when I use the pump, and the doe foot just distributes the perfect amount of foundation on your skin. It just gives you this nice thin layer, and I'm telling you, the littlest bit goes such a long way. This is such full coverage. This erases your face. I know people always talked about Kevin Aquan, how when he did everybody's makeup, that was his goal when he started off. It would just be to erase any shadow, and he just wanted a complete blank canvas. This does that for you. Like, this takes away any blemish, any dark spot, any melasma spots. This is just amazing. Super full coverage. It's probably one of the most full coverage foundations I own, but yet it doesn't feel cakey, and I feel like that's really hard to get with a full coverage foundation. I will say, if I'm on the drier side, this does accentuate some of my dry patches, but not too obvious. Maybe I might be a little self-conscious if I'm speaking to somebody really close, but this is an awesome foundation for like a night event, or if you just want to up the glam. And this is just really good. I was super impressed by this. The finish is almost like a demi matte finish. It gives you almost like a powdery finish, that velvet matte finish, but not looking overly dry. It accentuates a little bit of dry patches, maybe some fine lines, but not overly whatsoever like the next couple of foundations I'm about to talk about do. It's just a pretty forgiving full coverage foundation. So really impressed by this. I think I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this. So super excited about that. Worth the hype. So next up, let's talk about the foundation. This packaging. Are you guys about this? When I first saw this, I thought it was a Soap and Glory foundation. I saw it on everybody's thumbnails. I'm like, oh, Soap and Glory has a new foundation, but no, it was Anastasia. But I was really excited when I saw that she was coming out with a foundation because I love her brow products. I mean, how can you not love her stuff? And the fact that it was Luminous, yes, give me it now. I was super pumped. The Luminous foundation is a water-resistant liquid foundation that creates a luminous natural finish and is long-wearing even without setting powder. So when I first applied this, I was so excited. I put this on and I'm like, holy crap, this feels so good on the skin. It just felt just light and smoothing, and the finish it gave my skin was absolutely gorgeous. I was just so excited about the radiance, and it just gave my skin that glow. But as it sets, it just accentuated. I just felt like every pore was like popping up on my face as this was setting. It somehow doesn't sink into your pores though, or your fine lines. It just kind of accentuates them. But I will say setting powder definitely helps with this, and I like the finish of this. Each time I took a picture of myself with this on, I really liked it. I'm actually wearing it today, and I am really excited about the finish of it. But I will say this NYX Born to Glow, almost the exact same result, that like pretty luminous finish, but this doesn't highlight your texture like how this does. Also, the coverage isn't the longest lasting. I would say this maybe wore 5 to 6 hours before I noticed my sunspots starting to poke through a little bit more. So I'm like, I don't know, 50-50 on this. I love how this looks with a little bit of setting powder, and if my skin's in good condition. Still really pretty, but if you have large pores or if you're really oily, this probably won't wear the best. It definitely broke up in the areas where I was more oily, and shine just came through throughout the day. Yeah, so for the price, I don't think it's worth the hype. I'll continue to use it. I think it's pretty, but I probably won't repurchase it because I have other Luminous foundations that are favorites for me that perform better than the ABH. Another foundation that actually kindly sent me out was this one by Becca. This is the Ultimate Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. This is another one that every time I went through Ulta, I would swatch it. I never could get quite the right shade, and I didn't hear too many people talking about it, so I didn't really know how well it worked, but I'm like, hey, all right, I'll try it out, why not? And I was really excited about this. Super impressed. So the details on this one, this is supposed to be a buildable full coverage foundation featuring up to a 24-hour humidity, sweat, water, and transfer resistant wear with a natural finish. So what impressed me most about this was the amazing coverage. It's very comparable to the Pure 4-in-1 Selfie as far as coverage goes. Just erases everything, just makes your skin look so flawless. It's so good. After I applied this, I kept like examining my face in the mirror. I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't see that dark spot. That little line is completely covered. Like, it floats over your lines too really well. So I was really excited when I first applied this. Now the only negative, as this wears throughout the day, it wears up to, I would say, maybe about 8 hours, but it does start to break up kind of funny and enhances texture as it breaks up throughout the day. It just doesn't fade nicely, but I think it's because it's such a thick formula. I bet if I thin this down with some facial oil, it would look so nice. That's a really good idea. I need to try that. But if you want something full coverage and you don't need necessarily a long wearing foundation, like if you're just going to a quick event, this is the coverage, the look of this is just so pretty. But bottom line, the coverage of this is awesome. I just wish it didn't break up throughout the day, but it really does even out your complexion so well. All right, and last but not least, let's talk about the Stay Naked foundation, new from Urban Decay. This is going to be their weightless liquid foundation. It's supposed to have up to a 24-hour wear. Let's see what else. It's supposed to be buildable, medium coverage, with a real skin matte finish that lasts up to 24 hours. Now, as far as the other claims go, this is supposed to be a buildable, medium coverage foundation with a real skin matte finish. It lasts up to 24 hours, and it's available in 50 shades with 9 shade intensities, 3 master tones and 7 undertones. So a ton of different shades. It was pretty easy to pick out my shade match, although it ended up not being the right shade match. I tried this out in my last video and it looks super white. It totally washes me out, but I do think this will be good in the winter time. But as far as my thoughts on this go, I said in the beginning, I just love the original Stay Naked so much. My skin's on the drier side, and the fact that this had a matte finish, and not even the fact that it had a matte finish, because, like, for example, I love the Fenty foundation. It has a matte finish, but it still feels comfortable on the skin. This just felt really drying and tight on the skin. It doesn't necessarily highlight any dry areas, which is actually what impressed me about this. When I applied this, every like dry area I had, I was like, oh my gosh, it's floating over that. It's smoothing out this area. It looks really good on the skin, but unfortunately, as this dried down, it just feels so tight on the skin. This has denatured alcohol listed on the ingredient list as the 4th ingredient. So unfortunately, for those of you with dry skin, this is not going to be your best friend with denatured alcohol high up on the ingredient list like that. And I actually didn't realize it had the alcohol in here, and when I read the ingredients after I tried it, I'm like, yes, that makes sense. That's why it feels so tight on the skin. This does wear all day. Like, the coverage didn't fade on me at all. I didn't test this 24 hours. Who's got time for that? But I did test this. This was on me a good 12 hours, I would say. I've worn this at least 3 times since I've had this, and it really does last. When it does fade, it fades nicely. It doesn't like cake up or break up in any areas. It doesn't sink into fine lines or anything. Again, the finish is absolutely gorgeous, but this just felt too heavy and tight on my dry skin. So fortunately, not my favorite. I don't think this lives up to the hype. I just was so hopeful because I love the original Naked so much. I'm like, yes, I can get that lightweight feel and a matte finish. Yes, I'm in it. I'm all for it, all about it. But yeah, unfortunately, this is just too dry on my skin, so not a fan of this. Let me know down in the comments if you have oily skin and if you tried this and if it worked for you, because maybe my skin is just too dry for that. I don't know. But like I said, there are other matte foundations that do work for me, so I just had such high hopes for that. Urban Decay, like I said before, please bring back the original Naked, or at least reformulate it. I just miss that dewy finish with that lightweight feel, and the coverage, it was literally like so lightweight, but it gave so much coverage. I love that foundation. But yeah, unfortunately, doesn't live up to the hype for me, and yeah, I'm gonna pass for me with the Stay Naked. So in conclusion, all these foundations, let's gather ones that are worth the hype and ones that I don't think are worth the hype. I would say not worth the hype are these 3 right here, the NYX, the First Aid Beauty, and the Urban Decay. The ones that are underrated, these 2 right here. Love the finish. They just even out skin tone. They really brighten my skin tone, so super excited about these 2. The ones that I'm kind of so-so about are these 2, the Becca and the ABH. I love the ABH finish. I just wish it didn't highlight my texture. But that brings us to my favorites in this video. So these two guys. These are definitely worth the hype. The Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie. I love the finish of this. I love how full coverage this is without that heavy feel. This is going to be a new favorite for as far as full coverage foundations go for me. Love that. And then this one, this is going to be, I swear, my new ride or die. This is just my favorite. Loving this so much. The NYX Born to Glow. Love the radiant finish. Love the lightweight feel. It's long wearing. It covers so well. It feels lightweight, but yet it literally covers everything. It's just so good. The Luminous finish is just gorgeous. It looks like the ABH, but without the highlighted texture. So I'm such a fan of this, so excited about this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this foundation review. This was really fun. Let me know your go-to foundation right now. I just always love hearing everybody's favorites. Also, has there been any like new foundation fails for you? I'd love to hear that as well. We could all save some money here. So always love hearing from you guys. Share your comments down below. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. See you guys.